So we're out here in Sacramento today, this evening, to get some answers for a really wonderful and beautiful family. Just to validate some activity, some experiences, some feelings, some sensations, and just get to the bottom of it, see if there's some spiritual and some scientific validation for what they're experiencing, what they're feeling and going through, and most of all, get them some resolution. This family, I think there are some people who are a little more spiritually inclined or spiritually sensitive or in tune. Therefore, we're going to have a few experiences, we're going to have a few feelings, and we got to learn how to manage those feelings and abilities and get to know how to protect oneself and not necessarily dive into energy or activity unnecessarily. We want some paranormal safety and protocols in place. Including that little one right there. we want some safety for them, and so they can just enjoy their space and they can enjoy their home. Ultimately, we're going to do a walkthrough and a meter read and see where we're going to go from there and definitely bless the space. Some of the energy that I am being drawn towards that side of the house. I do feel that there's some energy kind of wanting to interact, but not necessarily in a negative way, just sort of almost a curiosity. I do feel one very distinctly protective soul in this space, an older gentleman that seems to be very interested in protecting everybody. Are you safe? Are you good? Are you happy? He's a little stubborn, to be perfectly honest, but he means well. He wants to give them a sense of comfort and a sense of love, even though he's not. I wouldn't call him grumpy. He reminds me of my grandfather, to be honest, like this, like loving but set in his ways type of vibration. And so I find that he's probably one of the most dominant spirits, and I'd like to validate that. But I know that there's some other stuff going on here. I want to talk to the other souls that are sort of in the background, a little quieter. I know that they're present, but they're just a little more subdued. And he seems to be the dominant protective energy of the home.
Do you have an age for him, or did I miss that?
He's older. I don't know, maybe 70s, 80s. I can't quite tell, to be honest. He just, obviously, because I see them more as shadow and silhouette, and then sometimes their aura, and sometimes little physical features will pop through. I do feel he just has a strength about him. Maybe even a little bit of a regimented vibe, kind of like that set in his ways type of vibe. Some of those people sometimes have military, law enforcement background, or they're just stubborn people, but which I am, so I respect. And I think there's a lot of love in this space as well. There's a lot of good energy, but there's also a lot of curiosity from the living humans, which can sometimes not come with the right boundaries. So we're going to have to make sure we have those in place for everyone, and they know how to kind of bubble up at night so nothing bothers them that they don't want to bother them. I would say that we can go ahead and do the walkthrough of the whole space and see what we feel, and then we can do a little validation with our clients and see if they have anything to add to what we feel during the walkthrough.
Sounds good.
The energy is unique. There is this energy that's coming off the space of openness, spiritual openness. Okay, like a sensitive in a way of like clairvoyance and deep feeling, empathy, but it's causing some sort of issue. But deep, like intuitive sense, gut instinct, feeling things deep down to the core and not being able to express them in a way that there's difficulty in expressing the feelings that are coming forward from the energy in this space. But the space is also extremely protected, to the point of like almost like a guard dog. Literal and metaphorical, like a human protector, like spiritual protector, but actual like canine.
You're feeling an animal spirit.
Yeah, like a canine protector as well. Like
right.
This is like a duality. There's a human and a spiritual canine protection.
Interesting.
In this space. There is also this level of, the dreams seem very intense in here, and colorful. The dreams are colorful in this space. The older gentleman is kind of coming forward and telling me almost something about like a really special, unique bond or connection of like, not necessarily a namesake, but like that sentiment of like passing on something to this person and wanting them to carry on some sort of tradition or value system or ideas. There's some sort of bridge between them spiritually that's really unique. It's very, very unique and very special, in my opinion. The one gentleman, the older gentleman, is giving me a little bit of breathing discomfort, a little bit of chest heaviness going on. Don't know what that's about. I'm not sure what he's expressing to me, if it's literal or metaphorical yet. So we'll move to the next space, and if you want. But there is a human nervousness. There's no real reason to be. It's residual fear. A residual fear. So there's this woman that's got to be, I don't know. She's presenting to me in her 60s. I don't know that that's her actual age, but I feel like she's 50s or 60s. Maybe that's just when she felt good, because I feel like she got taken by some sort of illness. But maybe later, she's kind of giving me some ambiguity. She's like going backwards in time. She's wanting to present herself when she felt healthy and strong and good, not when she was unwell. I feel like she may have been brunette at some point in her life. And she seems very fun woman. She's got a spunk and a spice to her, and a lot of personality. I feel like she's very interested in checking things out periodically, visiting. She's like, I visit sometimes. It's fine, right, that I visit. It's like she has a connection in why she wants to visit. And she also comes with another woman who's older. This woman's got to be, she's got to be over 80. She's a little shorter. Her hair's short and kind of tight, and like a little, like, I don't know if it's like a wave or something going on, a curl, but it's shorter and whiter. Very old-fashioned values with her. She's very particular about the recipes, so I'll deal with her in a minute. I think we'll go to the next room. What am I feeling? What is that? So I touch items obviously to feel the energy of a space and what could be happening in it. The intense creativity energy is high. The wanting to know, to learn, to create, to figure out, to take apart, to understand, there's a busyness energetically of the soul. What is that? That one female, the female in her 50s and 60s is coming in here too, and she connects to the energy of this space. She gets the energy of this space, and she's thinking, oh, what can we do today? What can we create? What can we figure? Like, there is this beautiful connectivity. This female, it's it's sort of like a cousin or like an aunt or like a you know, like a not typical grandmother, like more like, what can we get away with, you know? Like, it's very sweet. It's fun, this woman, and she likes to be part of this this space and give a lot of love, a lot of help. She's mentioning something about a little child, a little one that that she's holding on to. I don't know if she lost one or somebody lost a little one, because she's holding a little one and keeping it safe is what she's saying. So I wonder what that's connected to. But she's a very neat gal, and very protective of the energy here. So I like her. I feel like she's super helpful. And the older lady is it adds to that. The older lady is I think she's going to be a little more busy in the kitchen, to be honest. She seems to be more of a busybody in there. I feel like I'm going to find more energy of her in that space. So continue on. Oh, this one's going to be really active and gifted. Oh man. You are going to have your hands full in the next few years. Profoundly, intensely gifted. Something's going on. I don't know. Maybe she'll grow out of it. I don't know. But this is feeling intimidated, feeling nervous about not understanding what's going on around them sometimes. Not necessarily knowing how to express when they feel something. It I don't feel comfortable. I don't want to do that. I'm not gonna do that. Leave me alone. It's all just, you know, like, no. Very, very funny energy, but really full of life and ability. A lot of potential, like immense potential, immense intelligence potential as well. I feel that animal energy in here again, that canine energy, a lot of the canine protective energy of this space. And there's something that was never human, more angelic, like a guardian angel form in this space, like never came to this earth. It's almost like a connection right before birth. Some sort of interaction between this soul and another soul on the other side. And they're very connected, and there's really, really big guardian angel potential, like, coming from this other particular soul that's connected to this soul.
And that's a family dog, not a demon.
Yeah, that was not a demon back there. That was a living wubby goat. So it's okay. I would consider the next 5 to 7 years looking into some sort of meditative process for every member of the family, but this one in particular. But I think everyone should start sooner rather than later with some sort of grounding or meditation, because there could be psychokinetic phenomena that will start to occur as puberty hits, and possibly accidentally opening up portals if we don't learn to ground. So
which is essentially what a poltergeist is.
Yeah, so I'm going to make sure you have the grounding document. I think I might have sent it to you, but make sure you guys are just starting the grounding now when we're all young. It's good. That will help keep everything very contained in a good way. And it'll be nice and protective and helpful, because somewhere around between ages 10 to 14 can be very volatile energetically. But yeah, there's something interesting going on in here that's really kind of fun. It's very unique. I like it. Let's wander. This woman is like tinkering in here a lot. Like I almost feel like she's moving things around once in a while, just adjusting things slightly to her perfectionism type of level. And so people might think they put something down and then it ends up being somewhere else. I think that could happen once in a while. You moved it. No, you moved it. That kind of thing. And it's not, it's just the spirit adjusting things. She really means well.
So you think things are important?
Not a lot. I think she's just slightly moving things, so it's like you think, like you barely can notice it. You're like, I thought I set my cup down here, and it's like maybe just a little bit different. Or I thought I set my keys here, but they're just a little bit over. And so it's not too overt, but she's just being a perfectionist. I think that she has a perfectionist tendency in her to some degree. Those are the dogs that were talking on the other side of the wall. Hello. Hi. Aren't you cute? Wow, that's a nice bathroom. Thank you. I need one of those tubs. Got a lot of weird air pressure. A lot of pressure. The pressure on my ears, like I know there's like the fans on and stuff, but that there's some sort of energetic pressure.
I actually feel it in my ears. I feel like kind of like you do when you go up in the Sierras.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Well, we have
meters.
We have meters to document that.
But
that's interesting.
I'm wondering if we're not going to get some like residual, like something with the tri-field off this bed.
Okay.
I feel like the tri-field meter might hit possibly on here.
Sure.
Because it vibrates. There's like an electric vibration energetically coming off this. I know you're gifted, but I think your husband is too, and just very closed off to it. Like
he's Native American, so.
Well, the spirit realm is like a thing. It's like but fear gets it's a blocker. But I think he actually has some pretty interesting dreams and like feelings and visions and things. Like there's stuff like nope, it didn't happen, nope. There's a lot of that going on.
Well, it can be the battle that I have too, science and spirituality.
Well, there's that
they don't
too.
They don't need to be at war with each other.
There's also fear and spirituality that's going on. But
okay.
You get two people that are that sensitive in one space, that could account for the electricity that I'm feeling energetically off the bed that would leach out of the space. It's not a bad thing. It's not a negative thing. It just is. It's the same sensation that anyone would get from where I sleep. Just this waves of energy. There is this something. This one spirit is telling me something about a horse or horses. I don't know anything. I don't understand what the metaphor or if it's literal, but they're talking about horses, like either like being free and being open and like running around. I don't know. So I keep saying horses. Yeah, this is and I don't feel anything dark or evil in this space, so it's not like something was trying to come in and attack anybody. It doesn't feel that way. It feels like I think the paralysis event might have been connected to extreme stress. Were you particularly stressed out at the time? Okay, because this to me seems like that was a catalyst that triggered the whole domino effect that led to that moment of being stuck. Not that it wasn't spiritual, there was that interconnectivity of it, but the catalyst was severe stress, which means meditation and grounding to de-stress are going to be an absolute must for you. That's not going to be optional. Otherwise, you could have more weird spiritual experiences, and we don't need you to have anything weird. normal weird.
Keep it positive.
Yeah. But really be in touch with your stress levels. You gotta modulate. You gotta meditate. You gotta get the baseline down for sure. Because as they start to bloom and open spiritually, this house is gonna, either stay really positive because you guys are all grooving in the right way and you're doing the grounding and all that, or it's gonna be like, why is it so noisy all of a sudden? So if you get on this right now, it's gonna be easy sailing the whole time with little to no bumps in the road.
Okay.
But I grounded actually outside before I came. All I did was just sit outside, and it was helpful. So
Absolutely.
I suggest doing that. So we're just gonna do a quick, little just punch list rundown type of thing. Anything that I said during the intro or during the walkthrough that was relevant to you guys, that made sense, that you recognized, that you said one already, my intros, some stuff resonated. Just, you guys tell me what resonated to you, what makes sense to you, and we can kind of go from there.
Okay. So you talked about the dominant man was the one that was the most active, an older man,
Yeah.
and stubborn and set in his ways, and I 100% believe that that's my grandpa. And Ryan actually saw him in his room before at the desk.
Okay.
And he talked about having
Not on desk, it was just in the doorway.
Okay, in the doorway.
He was visiting.
Yeah. And you're saying he had a hard time breathing. He did die of lung cancer.
Okay. Yeah.
The fun woman that you talked about in her 50s or 60s, I'm positive that's my Aunt Maggie.
Oh.
And she was a super, super fun lady, and she loved me like her own, and she actually had a miscarriage right before I was born.
Oh.
And so my being born, she had, that was difficult for her. She had, multiple mixed feelings about that.
But you guys really bonded.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That makes sense, because she seems so happy and fun, and she seems really attached to you, so that makes sense.
The older woman, I don't know if you were open to it or not. I'm thinking it could be my Grandma Judy, or it could be your grandma. Both of them were short, sassy women with short hair.
It could be a little bit layer. If two souls are very similar, I see them just one ball of energy, but they could have some, like, layering over if there's some similarities. I could try to pull them apart a little bit, but if it kind of made sense to either of you, I mean, for me, the older woman, it seems short, kind of little wave to it, sort of whitish kind of color. She was a little bit bossy in her kitchen. Her recipes, the way she liked things, kind of particular about stuff. And, but, she would give you a lot of love in one hand and then swat you in the butt if you mouthed off a little bit. But I like her fire, and I like her, like, pizzazz. I think that she's an amazing, helpful spirit, and that's how I'm seeing her.
I'm pretty sure it's my Grandma Judy. She was a spitfire, and she was a perfectionist.
Yeah, this lady definitely is.
Everything needed to be in its place, and the joke in the family was that when she went to heaven, she went there to clean it up. Because that's just how she was. That
sounds about right to the energy I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Because I keep seeing her adjusting and moving things ever so slightly in your house to, like, straighten things up.
That's
to, like, put it where she thinks it belongs.
Yeah.
Only one issue is chores.
I know, that'd be nice, huh?
Please.
I know, that would be great.
As far as this little one here, you said that you felt some pretty cool energy in her room. She never met Poppy. And so we actually had this made, and it was a drawing of them together. And so she knows that that's her guardian angel. And
Wow.
I mean,
yeah.
Even as a baby, we would see her.
Resonates.
Yeah, we would see her gazing off and laughing at nothing. Even now, she'll tell me, Poppy won't stop tickling me, and stuff like that. So that definitely resonated.
Okay.
Riley's creative energy is huge.
Okay.
I do think that sometimes she might, unknowingly open herself up to something. So I'm glad that we're getting professional advice now, so we can make sure that nothing happens.
Yeah. Stay in your protective bubble.
Yep. And then Ryan, I feel like it also resonated with him. He has a different type of space, and and he keeps things in, and he's more reserved. He has a lot of feelings, and sometimes not always able to.
Voice in my head.
Yeah.
Can articulate them all the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I resonated with everything. The only thing I couldn't resonate with was the horses, but that's why I don't know. Do you have anything with horses that you can think
I mean, it
of?
literally could just be them drawing attention to the living relative, you know. They're just, because the other side will just draw attention to somebody that they think is important for whatever reason, and they kept showing me horses, so.
That's awesome.
Could be ancestral, too.
Yeah, that's another thing, is I will feel ancestral energy. Things are 2, 3, 4 generations back. Doesn't necessarily have to be immediate relative. It can be friends, you know. But they showed me that imagery, so I give you everything that I feel.
Yeah.
I dump it all on you.
I appreciate it.
But I'm glad that, you know, so far that has made a lot of sense to you guys. And you had some stuff that felt.
So you said that you felt like a canine energy.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, I did.
So, one night I was like sleeping on the couch, and I woke up and it sounded like this big dog was like angrily barking. It was only once.
Okay.
But then I just heard footsteps coming closer and closer to me. So, yeah, I went back to sleep.
I'm wondering if you have some dog protection services, or, you know, some dogs in spirit, or maybe some of these other spirits bring their pets with
I
them.
was going to say,
you know.
I forgot, because the very first thing that we noticed in this house, the day we moved in, I kept seeing a little dog running down the hall.
A little white dog.
A little white poodle-like dog that would run from the beginning of the hall to the end. And I didn't really think anything of it.
Okay.
And then later that night we were eating dinner, and I mentioned it to my mom just jokingly. And she says, I saw it too.
Oh, jeez.
And so that's what started this everything.
Even backstory to that is, which is kind of weird, the owners of the house, their daughter, gave us a call like, hey, they actually left a bunch of dishes in the dishwasher.
Oh, jeez.
So it's like, hey, can we come by and get it? I'm like, yeah, no problem, of course. So we talked to her, and like, yeah, like we keep seeing like a little dog, and like a white dog. Yeah, we had a little white dog that passed away in the house.
Oh, okay.
So
that dog just lives here now in spirit. Oh, wow, okay. Well, you have extra help.
I know.
Take it.
And when I heard footsteps coming closer to me, after just waking up randomly, that wasn't the last time.
Okay.
It really just happened just a few nights ago, actually. I woke up randomly in the middle of the night, and I just heard footsteps coming closer and closer. And I went to my mom and dad's room, and I kept on hearing the footsteps. Closer and closer.
Well, it makes sense to me. You've got a lot of deceased family walking around your house, looking after you, protecting you. You've got, you know, people tinkering and moving things and being perfectionists. You've got, you know, people wanting to protect and to love you guys. You've got all these energies doing so much like work and spiritual health. And you're sensitive, you're gifted, you know, spiritually. So you're probably going to hear them for the rest of your life. But it'll change, you know, it'll be different things over time.
We spend a lot of nights, all of us together. Like by the time we wake up, we're all in bed together. Just because it's, I don't know. I feel like they get really nervous sometimes, and then you know we all end up together. So.
At nighttime, I'm just like chilling in my bed, you know, and then I just see something. I don't know what it is. It looks like the area is just a little bit blurred out.
Yeah, that's often how I see the other side. I don't always see them as full-bodied apparitions. Sometimes I do, but a lot of the time I see them more as like an energy, like when like heat rises from something, or you know, and that kind of thing. And so that to me is totally normal. That is how I see most of the spirits. And then they start telling me or making me feel things, and then I'll start to see more bits and pieces of them, and I'll get a bigger picture of who I'm interacting with. But when I was your age, I would get that feeling, and then it would intimidate me because I didn't recognize it, or I didn't know how to discern who it was. What I feel in your house, the level, especially with the grandfatherly energy, he is so protective. I don't think he's going to let anything else in here that shouldn't be here, to be perfectly honest. Like, he's like standing guard. Like, very, try to come in this house. It's this very, attitude like, you ain't coming in here and hurting my family. Like, it's very strong, but in a good and beautiful way. So if you hear him walking around, or one of the other relatives walking around, kind of keep that in the back of your mind, like, oh, okay, well, it might be this person or it might be that person. Like, keep that in the back of your heart and mind that it's one of those energies. Because really, the only thing I would worry about, and barely worry about this because you have such strong protection, is the fact that more than one of you is spiritually gifted. And if you don't learn how to protect yourself properly, you might accidentally drag home a random energy some point in your life down the road, years down the road.
Yeah.
So if you guys start now with, meditation and the prayer and the protection, basically think of it like this. Imagine yourself wrapped up in a huge, giant bubble that nobody can poke and penetrate. Nothing can get through it. And whatever color you want it to be, whatever your favorite color is, or, I like to imagine, gold and purple and that kind of stuff just surrounding me. And I sit in my bubble. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to bed now. I'm in my bubble. I'm safe. I'm protected. I have my guardian angel spirits with me like you guys do here. And I'm just in my bubble and everything's good. And I get in my bubble every night and then nothing intimidates me. Nothing can poke through that bubble. It's like a titanium bubble. So if you guys can put on your bubbles before bed, that might go a long way. Obviously, a little bit younger, you maybe help with the, do a visualization together to do that as a thing, make it a family event. We're going to get in our bubbles. I think that will be a helpful step, but you got to make sure that you're comfortable with every once in a while. Maybe you do smudge the house just to calm energy, living human energy, and also spiritual energy. Remember, you got to protect yourself. Even if you go out somewhere and it's really busy and you feel really, really hectic, get in your bubble. Yeah. I bubble up before I go to the grocery store, the mall, anywhere there's going to be a lot of people. I also get in my bubble because I don't want to take on everyone else's energy. It sticks to me like glue.
And that's when you start feeling anxious.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you go to a non-haunted location like the Queen Mary.
Oh, yeah. You can feel what other people are feeling. It is possible to be around a person. You're doing great that day. You're feeling awesome. Yeah. You go near somebody and suddenly you're in a bad mood.
Yeah, the Winchester Mystery House messed me up when I was around their age.
I like Winchester, but you got to go in there bubbled up.
Yeah. Last thing, more as about my aunt, my fun aunt.
Yeah.
I adore her. The reason why we reached out to you is because on Christmas Eve, my uncle, who is a lot like my husband, he's not really open to this type of thing.
Yeah.
Just, anyway, he's here in the front room, and his wife was next to him, and she says, I'm really so proud of Rhonda and Ryan and the kids, and they're doing so good. And he's like, yeah, I'm proud of them too. And she says, I'm really proud of you as well. And he was just like, what? And he looked up, and it wasn't his wife, it was my late aunt. And right after that, he was so spooked, he needed to leave. And this is something
that's creepy but fun.
It's not like, this isn't a common thing for us, to talk about in our family. It was, and at that moment, which was weird, was all I could think about that night was Aunt Maggie. Which Christmas Eve, it used to be her thing, and I adopted that. Okay. So it's now my thing because I wanted to, do my Aunt Maggie right. So I thought about her all night.
Which is perfect.
Yeah, and it was just really weird. So the next morning when he called to wish my mama a Merry Christmas, he said, hey, I'm sorry I had to leave so quickly, but this is what happened. And I knew right then and there, I'm like, okay, we need to get somebody in here and get this figured out. So.
Well, it's nice that she came to visit.
Yeah.
But
scared him.
He wasn't ready.
Yeah. He literally thought he was talking to his wife, but she was on the other side of the house. So.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
That poor guy. He wasn't prepared for this. But sometimes spirits come to us when they know we need it.
Yeah.
Not when we, want it, not when we expect it, you know, not when we're ready and prepared, but they know we need that message.
And Christmas would have
Yeah.
been the time for sure.
And she felt it was necessary, and so she had to kind of break his comfort zone because it was necessary.
Yeah.
So in a way, it was a gift.
Yes, I think so.
He didn't think of it that way at the time,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, that's what it was.
Yeah. I
So,
think so too.
you had a question?
Yeah. Well, not a question. It's a comment
Okay.
about these two closets in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
So, me and my mom agrees that there's just a vibe there.
Yeah, the closets are pretty scary to us.
Mm.
There's just a vibe there.
We can definitely run some meters in there, see if there's any electromagnetic energy that might be causing you to feel funny.
Yeah.
You know, which it could have a scientific, reason for it. It might be something we could debunk for you.
Okay.
Or it could just be, yeah, pretty much. Or it could just be where the spirits are coming and going too. The ones that live with you that are part of your protection.
Yeah.
It could be the areas that they're utilizing to move around. So they leave a residual energy that a sensitive would feel weird with sometimes.
Yeah.
So that was one of the questions I had for you then. First of all, everything here feels familial to you. And
Yes.
That's good.
I don't feel
that's good
anything
news.
dark.
And then the second question is, do you feel like there may be some portals that they're using?
I think they're stable, like mine.
Okay.
The
That's
one,
good.
like the one that Grandma uses.
Guarded ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
I that's how I'm seeing them intuitively, but I would like to take the meters and double check that.
Absolutely.
We've had electricity issues ever since we had our first house that have kind of followed us
Ah.
everywhere.
Interesting.
That's usually a spiritual thing if it's following you house to house.
Right.
Exactly. Our first house, it was like weird. The lights are always going off, and then the next time it happened at the next house, and it happens here too.
And the TV goes on and on.
Yeah.
Poppy, turn on
And that's what we do.
TV,
We've
news.
learned to just laugh about it and just like Poppy,
The spiritual realm will try to get your attention with little things, and especially if they can figure out how to manipulate something like electricity to remind you that they are present,
Okay.
they will do that. Now, if you don't want, even the sweet, loving family spirits, if you don't want them doing a certain thing because it's annoying you, just ask them not to do it. Work something out. Set a boundary, just like you, if they were living with you and they were trying to switch your channel on you or turn it off, you would say, hey, wait a minute, I was watching that.
No, they turn it on.
Oh, well, then I guess he wants to watch. Okay, well, then, if you guys are going to bed, I guess you can let him
They're
watch
the ones
it.
they're the ones that were watching that.
Yeah, so.
And they'll move stuff all over the place. Like my mom.
Okay, so there is stuff moving around.
Yeah, but there's stuff
Okay.
moving around and like being hidden for like a day or two at a time.
That's typical of apporting, the movement of objects. Because I do feel like spirits are moving things in your space, so I don't think they mean to do it like to piss you off.
I feel like it's like funny.
Playful,
I feel like I'm like, Poppy, can you please give me my hairspray back? Because I really need
They'll
it.
be in the weirdest places.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense because they can't always return it to exactly where they found it. That it can be a little difficult with energy. They just kind of sort of zoink it and then plop it somewhere. So just, have conversations with them. Just say, hey, like, that's funny, but can you lessen on this thing and maybe whatever,
Right.
work with them.
Right. Okay.
They're family. Treat them like family.
Yeah, makes sense.
So
Your suit is just your body.
Yeah, we know. We learned build life science today.
there you go. So we'll get out some meters and we'll see if we can just find any hot spots, any reason for this or anything could be adding to the spiritual activity. And we'll go from there.
All right, sounds great.
Any Wi-Fi hotspots?
No.
I like to avoid the one.
Come on, Poppy, try it.
You can poke any of them.
There's time to talk.
He messed with this one and he messed with that one, so he's already kind of been touching them. But
He's already set in his ways.
yeah, he's just like, all right, well, I showed you I'm here.
Yeah.
You can see me. Isn't that good enough?
He's very stubborn.
Air pressure's still dropping.
But he seems like a nice guy. I like him. He's just kind of like, isn't this good enough? I think it's good enough. Oh, I love that bazinga. I gotta take a picture of that. I like the Big Bang
You and your
Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
Some people have accused me of being like Sheldon Cooper. And that's fine.
The Sheldon Cooper of the paranormal world.
I guess so.
Pretty close, actually.
Bazinga. Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna interact too much.
Come on,
sure.
But we can give him more opportunities as we walk through the house.
I do want.
I think he's gonna follow us.
Yeah. Okay. And I was getting 10 microteslas down here.
Okay.
So I might want to.
Yeah. Go ahead and try to document that. So he's gonna document. He was getting some microtesla hits right around in that space.
Was that me?
That I did that. That was me. I accidentally hit it.
It's so weird. Like I'm not really getting a lot. And of course, when I wasn't filming, I was getting like 10.
Which means, well, actually, in a way, that helps. Even though you weren't filming it, it shows that it was in response to something.
Right.
And I'm getting some, but like it's a heck of a lot lower than it was.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting.
Kind of makes me wonder. You basically need to ignore the RF because there's...
Yeah. Just right at the top, I'm getting 4 microteslas right at the top of this closet. And is there anything electronic in there?
What about like 29 volts per meter? Would you think that's interesting?
Well, that's most likely the. Well, that's static. I'm sorry. That is the static, and it is the same static you're getting in these other places. And kind of
because I'm getting 30 volts per meter right here.
Yeah, that's static.
Well, the dead are made of static sometimes, you know.
Yeah, but you could that could also be wiring in the walls. I'm getting a pretty constant 4 microteslas of energy in this, and that's the fact that I can repeat that and get it at the bottom end. There's a vacuum cleaner there, but that doesn't account for getting the readings up here.
Old. Very old.
So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Let's try it on the y-axis. A little bit on the y-axis, but not as much. It's more on the x-axis. Was that me?
I think it was me.
Okay.
That was.
So that's interesting.
Interesting.
And that it spiked like that because I flipped it back to the x-axis, but it's 4 microteslas.
Which is just slightly above background, meaning.
But it's spiking to it really quickly.
So that would be sort of a stable.
Well, the fact that the entire closet is 4 microteslas is kind of unusual.
What's on the other side of it, like over there?
It's a good question.
Because we're good.
There's the kitchen and then the dining room, but this
Nothing on that wall.
the original house. This is all added on from this point.
Okay.
Oh.
So this is 1950s.
Okay.
And this is 1990s.
I see.
Ah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So
4 microteslas throughout this whole closet.
Well, all right. Interesting.
Yeah.
It just feels overwhelming. I don't know how else to.
Yeah, it's a little intense for me too, to be honest. But doesn't necessarily mean dark or negative, but I would say that this one is more intense than I think they just come in here and help, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for showing up. If you want to sort of pop in again, you don't have to. We are getting a little bit of EMF. We are getting a little bit of static.
Yeah.
Careful with the tribal right behind you there.
The twins say this is the most uncomfortable room for them to be in,
Okay.
but
I'm not-
Raina loves it. Raina loves her bedroom.
I think that extra, like, her energy is really intense, which might be a little bit hard for other people.
Yeah.
Well, definitely.
But she's got her own sort of brand of protection going on in here. And that might just be a little...
We're spiking almost to 10 microteslas in places on this. So I mean, I can see why anybody sleeping in this bed night after night might not feel comfortable, and it's probably their own energy is the funny thing.
Yes, she's just really gifted.
She's bathing in her own PK energy. But yeah, 10 microteslas so on this bed, so that's consistent with an intuitive or a sensitive. Absolutely.
Nothing to be scared about,
Just went to 25.
in my opinion.
Let's see what else we got in this room. You're giving off energy.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm leaking myself and energetically. I'm just. Sometimes my own intuitive energy just floods out and screws with the meters. And, oops.
Oopsie daisy.
It happens.
10 microteslas on the tents. Yeah.
Interesting.
She'll sleep in there sometimes when she doesn't want to sleep in her bed.
Yeah. Funny.
We went camping and, well, she
Raina
doesn't
wanted to
do
do camping too.
So I think this is her energy that we're picking up on.
This here is a creative mind.
Very, very much so, I would say. I can definitely feel that.
Oops, I went right
I
through the...
paint a lot and I draw a lot and stuff.
That's good.
I painted my door sign.
Oh, that's
They're all
cool.
pretty very different, but very gifted in their own
Yeah,
in their own
I
ways.
can tell that, for sure.
absolutely. A lot of good energy, though. A lot of happy energy.
So which end of this bed does your head go?
Where all the
The
pillows.
fall all the way over there? Okay.
It's kind of confusing.
Well, which is interesting, because that's not where I was getting the energy. I was getting the energy over here.
Well, that
This is why I
can also
asked.
happen with people that when they're expelling energy.
I
especially
took
sensitives
the
expel.
you took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You draw energy in, but then you expel it out of your feet. That actually is very normal in grounding.
Yeah, and our bodies know automatically to do that, whether we're doing it.
Yeah.
Much power.
Who's power?
You're,
I must use the
you're
feet.
doing it automatically, which I think is really cool. Like your body is just
Yeah.
already processing energy. You're just kind of, in this really intense space, you gotta sit down and bubble.
And I felt like that was seriously the hairs on my right arm raised right before that happened. I don't know if they're going to come back. But
They're
don't seem to catch them on camera.
but they're trying to validate that what you're going through is real. But they're also here. The spirits are here to help you and protect you because
Right.
they're related to you.
Yeah, I think
They love you.
Absolutely.
They want you to feel happy.
exactly.
But they want you to know what you're going through is normal. Normal. Thank you for validating.
Oh,
See?
thank
you're
you very
normal.
much.
Normal in a weird way.
And she agrees.
Thank you, Maddie.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And yet sometimes
Or
whenever
Poppy, I
like
don't know.
I feel like,
Turn, turn, turn,
I'll like go like sit down there and like maybe read a little bit and then go back in my bed.
Perfect. That kind of thing just centers your heart and soul a little bit, and then you can kind of go back to whatever you need to do, go back to bed, whatever it is. That's important. That is an important kind of coping skill that you guys all need to learn and then sort of just utilize as needed. Because you've got a lot of loving, protective energy here. I mean, it's really, really amazing energy in this space. So, they're just a little busy. They're always doing something. They're always getting into something because, they're just having a good time. They're with their family. They're enjoying their time here with you.
They're
So.
always
Or maybe it's signing their ghost taxes.
Yeah.
Then they go come to us.
Yeah, they're just doing their thing. They're doing their stuff, and then they come check on you guys. They make sure you're okay. They're just sharing that love.
Just imagine just like a little
Thank you.
family reunion.
They're agreeing.
At least they agree with me. I like it when they agree with
They
me.
really are.
Thank you. Thank you for helping your family. They really appreciate that.
That's the biggest thing that you guys. I want you guys. I know. I want you guys to not be scared. That was the whole point of this, is to know that this is.
We know the aunt.
Not to be afraid of, yeah.
The aunt's here. Yeah, is that you? Okay. And all right. And the grandfatherly energy. You're here too. Thank you. And all the other protective spirits are here. You're all related to the family, yeah? Thank you for being here. We appreciate you.
Most of them are in your room, Riley.
I think they're just following us around.
Yeah, they're
too,
just following us
honestly.
around to me,
They couldn't
absolutely.
catch up in my room. They couldn't catch up in here. We're waiting for a bit.
They're chasing us all over the house in a good way. Well, thank you guys. We appreciate your help.
Can you demonstrate real quick how that works so they know why it's going off?
Okay, put this. So basically, this creates its own electromagnetic field. You have to break that field for that to go off. So I'm holding it carefully, as you're supposed to hold it so it doesn't set it off. But if something else comes near it, it'll set it off.
Got it.
And so
So I'm standing here talking to what looks like air, but it's not air because obviously there's a spiritual energy there, and then they're validating and they're poking it when
I see.
they so choose.
We see it put voice bots and things, so every time it says like you could hear it if they're saying something.
that was really
We could
weird.
do EVP, but
I am not a fan of the blurred camera claim. Oh, the camera blurred. I'm not a fan of that, but that was odd that it blurred with a video light just now.
well,
That's what
They're
that's
busy.
what Riley
Yeah.
sees. Riley sees a lot of blurry.
yeah,
That
exactly.
was it. It was really interesting. I'm glad we caught that.
That validates her
We
claim.
want,
Yeah, it
we
looks
want to
like-
go back and
When it's really
Yeah.
hot outside.
Yeah, like the heat rising and
Yeah.
waving.
yeah, that was get the tribo. That could have been you because you're reaching back there, but
That's
Interesting, though.
I don't know. Kind of cool.
But we're definitely getting some evidence in there.
Dead are busy.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
In their taxes.
I'd say let's.
The biggest thing here is going to be, just teaching everybody to tamp down that PK energy. That's going to be the biggest thing. With the portals, we can stabilize those for sure.
I think we check out the master suite, and then I think we can regroup and figure out where to go from there.
Let's do it.
I'm scared of that mirror.
Oh,
Shut up. Mirror's terrifying.
Oh, that's too close to it. It's not giving off any reading, so. But I will bless it. Don't worry.
It's just a scary mirror.
It kind of looks like like one of those like Snow White or some sort of fairy tale, scary kind of thing. But nothing's really coming out of it. But I will bless it.
I know, but they're going to be filming, and I want them to be able to film what they need.
I'm not getting anything on this. What are you getting?
Oh, tons of stuff. I'm filming it.
I'm feeling really heavy right now.
Ugh.
I feel like my legs are just.
Oh, and a lot of this is your
There's
guys'
good
energy.
electromagnetic energy in here. Let me try the Y-axis on it. See if I can get
Does
it
this
on
bed
the
have any sort of electronics in it, or
like a heated blanket, anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, getting energy on the X and the Y-axis, which is unusual.
That's where I sleep, and that's where I felt that.
I was gonna ask. Okay, so this is interesting. So this is more than just residual. When we can document the same readings on the X and Y axis, that essentially makes it three-dimensional, which means that you have a field over your bed. It's more than just residual energy. It's almost like you're building your own portal.
Which is very normal for a sensitive.
Yeah, for sure.
To accidentally to do.
Yeah.
Is it something that's being protected by my family here, or
it's not an open portal to like Nowheresville. Yeah, you've got
Nowheresville.
You've got family holding it solid, but you do need to be more on top of that grounding and bubbling, especially before bed, because you're literally leaching out this energy and opening up this energy, all from your own ability.
Yeah.
So.
Scientifically, I find that fascinating.
Yeah, it is fascinating, and I did.
And it's measuring exactly.
The aura protection and grounding.
I think back when we talked in December, I think I still have it.
Okay, because I want you guys to kind of get on that. Even consider downloading the Calm app.
Oh, okay.
There's like a free smaller version. The big version's too expensive in my opinion, but whatever.
Yeah.
But just like little 10-minute guided meditations.
Okay.
Those really
I can check the mirror real quick.
And I think that would be a big deal for everybody.
Okay.
But especially you before bed, because holy crap.
Yeah.
You're doing things.
Yes.
You're going places, you're doing things.
It's just when they sit right next to me to where, like, when I'm laying back, it kind of shifts my body.
That's a little creepy, but honestly, they're not meaning to be creepy.
I know.
They're meaning to, like, make sure nothing happens to you when you're wide open and you're not protecting yourself. Somebody's got to do it for you.
Yeah.
So they want you to start learning how to do it for you too.
Well, I'm glad that we're doing this.
Yeah. You got to get involved in the process.
The X-axis there.
They can relax a little bit too.
And this is kind of like taboo in my family, like I said.
Is it?
Aww.
We never spoke about this kind of stuff. The first time when I said, Mom, I keep seeing this dog, that was like the first.
That was the icebreaker.
She was like, oh man, me too. And then
I thought it was just me.
Yeah. And then my uncle and all that. So.
Okay, so three-dimensional 4 microteslas on the mirror, and 3-dimensional 10 microteslas where she sleeps. Do you have nightmares?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think I'll be blessing the mirror.
Okay.
Just to make everyone comfortable.
Yeah, because that mirror is really creepy.
It's not that it's evil, but
it's just a lot.
But it's energetically, there's a flow happening that we need to control the flow.
I think you're bouncing it right off the bed into the mirror. That's what happens. It's happening.
You are literally launching your energy into something that can be utilized.
It's storing it
as a sort of a gateway.
It's storing it, yeah, and that could turn into a portal.
Okay.
It makes sense. It's a mirror,
and we don't want it to turn into a portal. So let's.
The last thing you'd ever want to do is turn another mirror against that, so to create the infinity effect. That's cool, but don't do it.
Okay.
That's bad.
Because that'll cause all sorts of sadness.
Yeah.
Alright, will do. I will not do any more mirrors.
Mirrors are not bad. I mean, there's nothing wrong with mirrors, but you don't want to point them at each other. So that's a big no-no spiritually. And in this case, I don't think there's anything wrong with the mirror. It is literally acting like a battery and storing your energy.
Okay.
And I would
We got an air pressure hit and a heat spike on
Interesting.
the elevator.
Alrighty. I'll turn the camera on that.
It was random. As you were discussing that, it tripped.
Interesting. There's no way to know for sure, but I would wager a bet that during your nightmares, these numbers probably triple or quadruple. Not the air pressure so much, but the EMF that we're getting.
Yeah, my husband usually plays video games all night, so there's very regularly.
It's not just me.
Very
I got a 0.3 on that.
Did you?
Yeah,
Good.
I know that's low, but the fact that
But it's just out in the middle of nowhere.
out in the middle of nowhere and stuff's happening.
And it's been baseline to 0 the whole time. That is kind of interesting. In concert with everything else.
Just to prove that, to show
Oh, good. You got a shot of it.
You want to put in the video?
Sure, for sure.
I just I did document it.
Yeah, very regularly he has to wake me up because I'm screaming.
Yeah.
So I very rarely remember them the next morning, but he has to wake me up a lot.
That's almost like night terrors.
Yeah.
You really got to get on the grounding and all of that. And of course, make sure that you are on top of all medical concerns. Because medical concerns will interact with spiritual concerns and they both sort of exacerbate each other. And
It's been a rough few years medically.
Yeah.
I suffered a spinal cord injury in 2018.
oh, jeez.
And I've gone from a successful businesswoman working 60 hours a week to I'm 32 living on Social Security. So it's been a rough few years. And
I feel you.
I don't see any of the medical stuff ending anytime soon, unfortunately, but
just know that kind of stuff will trigger your stress, will trigger obviously your
For sure.
night terrors, your the psychokinetic ability and all that. They're all interconnected.
Yeah.
So the more stress you're under and the fact that you're not winding those stressors down, it's going to trigger more paralysis or nightmares or night terrors. Like you've got to get the stress and the waking hours balanced so it doesn't follow you into your sleeping hours.
Yeah, I've had 8 surgeries since we've lived here, and since 2016. So yeah, it's been
All in the back.
Yeah. Yep.
I feel you more than you know. I went through the same thing when I was 14. Yeah, so 3 months learning to walk again.
Yeah, I had a cauda equina syndrome. I lost everything, bowels, bladder, everything, and I'm very lucky to have what I have.
Yeah.
Very lucky. For cauda equina syndrome, most people are in wheelchairs and have to have a catheter, so I consider myself very lucky.
So it sounds like they've done a good job on you.
Yeah,
That's
there's
good.
been 3 different surgeons, and I'm now my case was just transferred to UCSF, which is world renowned in neurology.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're taking really good care of me. It's just been a long few years, so it's just been a lot.
Yeah, that would explain why the combination of these things are sort of coming to a head and hitting each other.
For sure.
You've got the physical stuff, you've got the spiritual stuff.